There's a certain amount of them that don't, but a lot of times men can't even see their kids.
But see, then that goes back to the villainization of the opposite sex. Just like a woman would villainize a man for after a breakup in certain type of ways, so as to justify their behaviors.
Do if he can't see his child?
Right.
How can he hold himself accountable for not being able to see his child?
Let me finish. Okay. What I'm saying is, in this example, is this the same thing, just on the opposite foot that we complain about when women do? Like, it's always now we're going to make a justification. Well, he can't see his child. When we know the vast majority of the cases isn't a woman keeping their child away from a man.
Can we also say that it's psychologically bad for kids, women to have kids by different men? You can go look it up. It is not good for a woman to knowingly have kids. Now, he unalives or, the asinine things that we go to. And then she go out here and marry someone else. But it's not good for the child, because you may mess around and you got 2 kids, 3 kids by different men. I'll just say 3, and 2 of them come to pick their kids up. 1 of them don't never come, and it's psychologically bad. So I mean, just again, ladies, and it's not like you take away from the man's responsibility, but we're the ones that hold them responsible. Number one, just get him the kid. And stop complaining and whining, and he ain't taking care of his child, go drop him off. Okay. You see, you have so many options. You have options. Okay. You can drop him off at the fire department. You got so many options out here. So we got to stop the complaining and stuff, but just understand that you do hold the burden. And I'm just telling you, that's what got me through it. I knew that I held the burden. Once I knew that, I'm like, okay, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Okay, yeah, your kids are gonna live with you. And I'm just saying, you got to understand that you hold the burden. There's no 50-50 other than DNA. It's just not happening. It falls on you. It falls on you when you are married to nurture the kids, to feed the kid. Your responsibility is high, especially if the man is out there working. You have just got to know your place. It's not, I don't even know why that's a bad thing. It helps you grow when you understand the realities of it. Okay? Because whining and saying, man, not responsible, shit, fuck that. If you don't live with him, what difference does it make? As soon as you say, go let the kid live with the father. Well, I don't want my kid to go over there because he may have some woman over there. The crap.
And you know what, Dr. Lady O? The other part of this argument we haven't even tapped in, and I know a lot of people don't want to do it. We haven't compensated for all of the men that are raising kids that ain't even theirs, that think they're theirs, which is another damn shame. The only reason why I say that because we want to talk about solutions. We tried to do that so many times on this panel. We even asked the women on the panel, and the situation had nothing to do with them, but we were asking, would they march on behalf of mandatory paternity tests at birth? And they were like, no.
That's not what happened.
Miss Pearl, I just saw you do that.
I absolutely would. I have 2 sons and I have a daughter. But if we just speaking from my sons, I'm speaking for my sons, absolutely. You need to get a DNA test before you leave the hospital. We can clear all that up. That way you don't have to wait 5, 10, 15 years and then she come out the bed like, oh, it's not your son. Oh, with my son. I mean, just get it swabbed before you leave. Just like they doing every other test. Why not do the DNA test? They take our babies out that room. We don't know what the hell they doing to them. But I do know you're going to get that DNA test.
You think you having sons is the reason that your perspective is how it is?
No, if I didn't have any kids, I would still stand for a man to say you need to know if that's your child. The woman know 100% is her baby. She carried it. Why should he leave the hospital and not know? We're going to be real and we're going to play fair. Level it all the way out. He going to get the paternity test before he leave the hospital. I ain't just for everybody in truth.
I was asking because I think me having a daughter, it broadened my horizon even more when it came to seeing things from a woman point of view. Like,
it does make you think a little deeper, a little further. I absolutely would. But again, if I was a childless woman, I would still advocate for anybody who has children to have that certainty. I don't feel like it's necessary for you not to. I don't feel like it's right for you not to. Why should he run around with a cloud over his head? It's not fair.
Hold on, wait, Marcus, are you saying because you had a daughter you're more lenient on the whether or not
Not so.
paternity
All right.
test.
No, hell no. I think you should get a paternity test, especially if you feel you need one. I'm saying, so my perspective was one where I didn't have like female friends that I wasn't having sex with before 25. Then I had female friends after that, and I gained a new perspective and just understanding women. Then when I had a daughter, my perspective was broadened. I was asking because a lot of the points that the men have been expressing, Miss Pearl has kind of been like, yeah, she been nodding her, like she been in tune with Lady O on some stuff. So my question, because I believe this to be true for Lady O as well. I think Lady O specifically, and Miss Pearl, this my my real first time interacting with you. I think her having a son may have changed how she views certain things, so her perspective is broader from that aspect.
No, I had a mother. No, I had a mother who said one man was my dad, and I found out at 49 years he wasn't. Had stopped doing that. Had nothing to do with my daddy.
I'm not trying to say nothing bad about
I have something to do with women that are trifling as hell. Okay, and it could be your daughter. Okay, you don't go put your daughters on pedestals if they can't go out here and do nothing stupid. Go out here and kiss a boy or something like that. No, it goes deeper than that. So the thing is, we're gonna have to be fair here.
Lady O, I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I wasn't attacking
you. Having sons don't have nothing to do with my mindset. I wouldn't change that regardless. At the end of the day, even if I had a daughter, if she's not married, especially if she's not married to the guy, yeah, I think that would be best for, because see, this is the thing that will protect her. That will protect her on down the line so that he can't go back and say, this ain't my kid. She already sealed the deal and proved that it was.
So
you know what? I'm glad we got rid of it.
I wasn't isolating it to just the child issue. Okay. Your perspective comes from a position where you understand what men are talking about more than normal when we interact with women on the panel. For sure. So it was not a shot at you to say because you got a son, you just gonna agree. That was not what I was doing. I was saying in my belief system, because when I hear you reference things, you do bring your son in and say, with my son XYZ. That was my line of thinking, that your son broadened your horizon as far as when men, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad y'all had this conversation, you and her, because what I don't want people to, I want to debunk if it ever becomes a myth or a rhetoric or a narrative, that you have to have a specific gender and child to be able to see the triflingness in the other side or vice versa. It just may be a matter of morals and just logical understanding.
I don't think that's a myth. I think that when you have to, like she said, with her issue, so you saying you feeling for your father is the reason, and yourself seeing how bad the women were with faking a paternity is what did it for you, or was it specifically because of your scenario?
I don't think it was a faking the paternity or anything like that. It's just that well, my mother wasn't married when she was young. She had when she was 15 as well, and of course I carried that torch. But it's just the fact that just not knowing. We have got to understand that it's a man has a right to know. Like Miss Pearl said, it's 100% our child. It came out of our body, unless the baby was stolen from the hospital or something like that. That's our kid, but it's not guaranteed to be that man's child, even if the man married her. So, and then the thing is, we got to realize in the marriage, it wouldn't matter anyway, because he's deemed a father regardless. So that's the downside to it all. But even then, I think that a woman should definitely be okay with the man securing it, because this is the thing. Say for instance, some money is involved. Okay, say for instance, somebody got some money and it can only be passed down through bloodline. That's a big deal. So DNA will have to be performed. It can't be no stepchildren, can't be no illegitimate kids. That it has to be the bloodline. There are some people who put that in their trust. So that would be an issue.
Yeah, I think so. I'm talking about in totality, not just in regards to the child support issue or the fake paternity issue. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's where the misunderstanding occurred.
Well, there's no fake maternity in my issue, but I'm just saying in general.
Didn't you say
it wasn't
not for you, but didn't it happen to you? Like your maybe I didn't hear the story right. Did you say?
Yeah. But my mom passed away in 2008. She didn't even know. I just found it out on my own. Yeah. So yeah, she probably didn't even know. She probably didn't know. Yeah. But my thing is this. My thing is that's why paternity tests are very important. It's just important at the end of the day. And it's just for the men. It's not to hurt women. It's not anything like that. It's really not.
Women raising their children. When we look at all the when we think about the incarceration rates, when we think about crime rates, when we think about all these different things, are men actually taking accountability for their behaviors in such a way and how it impacts the women left from our decisions? Maybe we didn't do anything specifically to her. Well, if you're not taking care of your kid, that's specific. But then your kid, that's specific. But then that lack of accountability in those areas to now go to a whole nother group of people and say, well, you're being unaccountable, when our brothers, our uncles, our kids, they're not accountable.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important for men to lead by example and not dominance.
But do you know how many women have kids by just random dudes?
But the accountability, that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. I'm about to say that. I'm about to say that though. One, the majority of Black men do not have kids. That's the first thing I want to say. All right. So when it comes to this group of men that, yes, it's like 50, 55.
But do men
48,
take accountability? His question is, do men take accountability?
When they have children, are they taking the adequate amount of accountability for what they need to be responsible for?
There's a certain amount of them that don't, but a lot of times men can't even see their kids.
But see, then that goes back to the villainization of the opposite sex. Just like a woman would villainize a man for after a breakup in certain type of ways as to justify their behaviors.
If he can't see his child,
right?
How can he hold himself accountable for not being able to see his child?
Let me finish. Okay. What I'm saying is, in this example, is this the same thing, just on the opposite foot that we complain about when women do? Like, it's always now we're going to make a justification. Well, he can't see his child. When we know the vast majority of the cases isn't a woman keeping their child away from a man. The vast majority of the cases is not the.
You see that? You see the little shit?
Hold on. Let's think here. Hold on. Let's think here.
There's a huge amount of women that do that.
Hold on. So we're talking about. Hold on. So we think. I'm glad that I'm gonna get Candace on the couch. So we think, because the niggas in the comments. So we think that when we're talking about deadbeats, people that don't see their child at all, we think that's largely a result of the woman keeping their child away from a consistent.
No, and this is what I'm saying. I think it's important for a man to take accountability in that situation for the fact that he impregnated someone that he was not married to. That's one thing. That's one part of it, right? Like, there wouldn't be a broken home if he actually committed to her, right? Built a family unit. We wouldn't even be having a conversation about he can't see the kids, because the kids would be in his house and he'd be married to the mom. So and then I understand that things happen. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that in every part of the cycle, we have to take accountability. I could have made a better choice when it came to.
I feel like this whole statement you just said lacks accountability on both sides. And because women, I don't feel like women need to be getting pregnant by people they don't know.
So again, that's what we're talking about the men for a second. We're talking about men. I'm saying that in that scenario, a man can take accountability for the fact that he created a broken home.
Let me give y'all.
I think the homes also are less broken if men have if men have the ability to take accountability for where they didn't show up the best, where they sinned against a person, whether they hurt a person, where they destroyed a person, because essentially what women are looking to do is be seen, heard, loved, acknowledged, and validated. And when a person has the capacity to do that, most times a person has the ability to receive, and at least they can work together, even if it's just a healthy co-parenting relationship. But when a woman doesn't get that validation, that acknowledgement, or those apologies that she feels she deserves, that's when you start to get a different side out of it.
So something came up in that video that I thought was really important. A lot of men, I don't know, not a lot. I don't know. I'm not going to put this on a lot, a little, or whatever. But there are men out here that are extremely problematic and absent and will go and play victim and say that the mother is keeping them from their child. And I was watching a show yesterday where you saw it in real time. Like you saw it on the show and it played out. And this man was being so problematic he had to be put out of the house because he was rude. And so his excuse was that he was being kept from his children. And he said that that was just another example of it when you saw literally on the show that he was never around in the first place. So there are so many problems, but that one thing there, that really does have to stop because there are a lot of mothers out here not keeping the children from their fathers. There are just a lot of fathers out here playing the victim to them. Men are victims of their own crimes. Men create situations and then play the victim. They act like white women. White women create situations and then cry when the consequence happens from their situation. So in these kinds of cases, these kinds of men act like white women.
I can agree that some men are out here playing victim, but why are these men still with women? These men, have you ever seen any of these men not get a woman? This is the problem. Have you ever seen an abuser not get a woman? Have you ever seen a child massacre, you know what I'm saying, not get a woman? Okay, women still go after these guys no matter what, whiny or whatnot, and still be baby mama number 5, knowing he done lied about not being able to see the other kids. But some of these women will still make these dudes fathers, and they still sleep with these guys. So again, who's the real problem? Because you're right, there are guys that play victim. But there's always some woman out there that think, oh, he don't take care of them other kids, but I bet she gonna take care of mine. There's always some woman out there competing with the previous women. Because I'm just saying, yeah, but you're right overall about that.
I love this because I didn't
Right.
dealt with all of it. I mean, my ex-husband, he was older than me. When I got married, I lost my virginity to him. I was Jehovah's Witness. He had a baby, and I didn't even know about it. And she was made in Korea, Qatar, or Kuwait, or somewhere. He was in the Air Force, and I knew nothing about the baby. But when I learned about the baby, she was staff, so she was in the Air Force too, who he got pregnant. She made a phone call to the house. So now I learned about the baby. Now, once she called once, he said she kept the baby away from him. I divorced him when my daughter was 2. I raised my daughter in Atlanta. That man has made zero effort. He is a phone daddy. He is down the street. I only came to Atlanta from the West Coast because his family is in Kentucky. So I wanted to be fair so she can know his family. And I thought that he would be that stand-up guy. But he did exactly what he did to the first girl and that baby. So married or not, and I heard Bo earlier. Bo, I was rocking with you. You was cooking, and then my pearl. I was gonna put the onion in there, but what I'm saying is, I've been through. I'm not saying a whole bunch in the space of it because I understand all aspects. That's why I'm able to be happy and stand strong in the woman I am. But it's funny because everything is one of the best things I ever learned in life is we're all different and we're all going to go through different things. And so everybody wants this unity of everybody on the same mindset. We're all different, like entirely. Like, I'm talking, each one of y'all thinking something different. Like, we're just different. People are different. We go through different things. I heard somebody say, you know, if you get married, you good. That's bullshit. I did it. I had a baby. I got married first. And I still raised her by my damn self. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Security don't mean a check don't mean a mother freaking thing to me. It mean a lot to some people. It don't mean nothing to me. A check don't mean shit to me. Never has.
No,
So for me, not coming for you, Lady O. Not coming for you, Lady O, at
no,
all.
because I'm never talking about
I'm
money.
just
I'm talking
saying for
about them
some
having
people,
kids about me that's
security.
going to be there for his children. Forget the money. My ex-husband, I got
Yeah,
house for
exactly.
you.
That's
So
what I'm
that's the
saying.
whole thing. And marriage is a better deal at the end of the day. See, we can't go watering
No,
down.
it ain't.
Hold on.
They
Y'all can
still
go.
lie, kill,
Hold
steal,
on,
and
y'all.
destroy.
Hold on. The hierarchy of life don't change. Yes, people are different, but the hierarchy still don't change. And how you function within that hierarchy then that's
In the
on you.
what?
That's where marriages are different. That's why,
And wait,
I know y'all laughing at me. I know that y'all let them go ahead.
You killing me with this hierarchy, Kiki.
Well, it's just, well, I'm just saying,
and wait, what
it's
building got
always
that
going to
name on
be
it?
God, man, wife, and child. How you function within that lineage, that's on you. That's where you say people are different. I get every marriage is different, for sure. But again, it's still a better setup. Like again, you tried, but I'm pretty sure if you knew this
No, it ain't
guy
never
had a
set up for to
kid,
be two people.
I'm
But
pretty sure you knew, but most marriages last. Okay, most first marriages last. I already done the stats on that. Over 60% of first marriages last. You have a better chance of staying married the first time. So, but the thing is choosing people wisely when you marry, right? So, but my thing is, if you had known this person had a kid, would you have even married him or definitely had his child? But you didn't know, right?
right.
So, if you had known, would you still have chance and gave a baby?
I don't know what I would have did at 19. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I love the path I'm on. I love where I'm at. I don't live for the past. And so in the space of that, I can just relate on this subject of and entirely with everybody's, even with Bruiser, what he says, I get his perspective, but at least he is a man that is standing his ground on his character. And I understand him there. I feel Pearl, I feel Bo, I feel everybody. I feel polygamy, or he call it polygyny, but polygyny, whatever he call
I
it.
can't even
But
pronounce the word, so I'm not
I
gonna say
feel
it.
I feel
Well, they're
everybody in
very
their
different.
stance in the place of where they are. Like everybody's different. You know what I mean? And this subject is marriage for me is the onion.
Well, but
So
put it like this:
because
forget.
originally the Bible that y'all reading is all designed for this whole entire Western
Well, let's just put it like
bull
this.
crap anyway. So
Let's just put it like this.